Hey everybody, welcome once again to the Football Fandemic, where this week we are not only going to look at the games that have just passed and the games that are coming, but we're going to assign some mid-season awards, some grades for the players in the field, all right here on the Football Fandemic. Hello, everyone. I'm Matthew Thomas, joined here by Brandon Colmark and Josh Kolodziejski, and we are excited about football that has transpired this week and some awards. This is like mid-season awards time, you know, where you give out the, like, we think awards are going to come like this, but the real awards will obviously come later. But before we get to any of that, we are, as always, going to hit some of the big news and headlines that have happened in the NFL this week. And we're going to let Josh kick us off with what those are. Josh.
Yeah, well, Brian Daboll has been fired as the head coach of the New York Giants. He is the second coach to be fired mid-season so far. None of them have been Mike McDaniel, but Mike Kafka is set to take over. So it is another Mike being added to the
list.
Let's
add. Too bad it's not Mike McKafka. Or
yeah. If it was Mike McCarthy, then it would have been perfect. But Kafka will be the interim head coach. Brian Daboll's time is done. The New York Giants did not live up to my expectations or the expectations
no, they did not.
Of their owner.
Your expectations were they were making the playoffs. They were the team winning that division.
The NFC East, yes,
yeah.
Yes, they were. In my theory of one team that is laughable, preseason making it to the playoffs at the end of the season seems to just like been completely nullified this year because the Saints, Browns. Well, I guess there could be some.
Let's think about this.
Well, I guess the Colts would be close.
I was going to say, everybody I heard was like, the Colts are not going to be great this year. The Colts don't even know who their quarterback is. Colts are switching. They're going to get a few wins. And everybody has acted very surprised that we are where we are. So maybe that's the worst to first. I don't know that we were the worst, though, because Tennessee in our division was the worst, and they still are. They're still the worst in the NFL. One win. Ridiculous. We only have...
And their one win was given to them literally on a platter here in Glendale, Arizona by the Arizona Cardinals.
So anyway, I don't know if there's been another bad, worst to first. Think through the divisions.
I can think first to worst with Washington, right? We expected much more out of Washington this season.
They're not worst. Giants still own that. In that division.
They are, but they're third to last in the NFC. I mean, it's
hey, pot kettle. I think you're third to last in the NFC North, right?
Whoa! Let's not.
We don't need to
not jump forward in this podcast, right?
Let's not. I
see these bags under my eyes.
That was
they're there for a reason.
Oh yeah,
it's been a rough 2 weeks.
It has. I can't think off the top of my head. I'll watch as we go through these divisions to see if one jumps out. But yeah, the Giants were not that team this year. And Brian Daboll has paid the price. He's gone. And I can't say he did a lot of good while he was there. So I don't know that I'm going to miss him.
He did get Daniel Jones paid $40 million. So kind of ruined the franchise in that sense by making Daniel Jones look good for a year before he fell off, looked even worse. And then now Shane Steichen has taken this broken heart and remade it into something.
Hopefully we're not just doing Brian Daboll part 2 where we make him look good for a year and then he falls apart. That's not in the recipe. We're hoping it's good from here on.
I think he has already thrown more touchdowns probably than the 15 that he had in what was known as his big time season there in New York.
Yeah, he has. He has.
So Brian Daboll gone. I know Mike Kafka was kind of like a hot head coaching name in the last couple of cycles, just because what he's been able to do in a couple of places as an offensive coordinator. So now he gets the chance to show that, and maybe, not only for New York, but also for other teams that are going to be looking for a head coach. And then today, going into injuries, it was announced that Travis Hunter will miss the rest of the season with an LCL
out.
Yeah, that was the big concern for him does playing multiple positions and playing, in college, at least it was up to 120. I think his highest was like a 90 snap count in the NFL. But does playing that much will it eventually take effect on his body? And it seems, at least in this season, that the answer to that question is yes. He was already placed on IR, but it was designated to return. So he had missed the last couple of games, but now he is going to miss the rest of the season to have surgery on that LCL. And then I also know I don't know how long Elton Jenkins is out, Brandon, but you can probably speak a little bit more with that.
Yeah, real quick, before we head to Elton Jenkins, let me just talk a bit about this Travis Henry thing. Do you think when he comes back, he's still going to be playing both sides? Or do you think they're going to say, we're going to move you to one? And if so, which side do you think that'll be? You think it'll be wide receiver or cornerback?
I still would like to see him play both. But I think I would like to see it after he becomes better integrated in the offense. I'd like him to start for maybe a month or two just doing wide receiver, because this season, the problem that he was running into a lot, and his last game of the season, by the way, was a 100-yard plus game in overseas in London. So he was putting it together on the offensive side of the football, but a lot of it was not knowing the snap count, not knowing exactly where to line up, because you could just see he was a step behind everybody else on the offense when it came to getting off the ball on the snap. He was always a second behind, and that kind of led to him, who he was the first progression on a lot of these routes, but when he's not even out of his release yet, it was hard for Trevor Lawrence to have faith to throw it to him. So a lot of his early season stuff was just these designed screens or designed short crossers over the middle. And I would like to see him integrate himself into the offense, because he looked fine on defense. He looked like he knew his assignment. He broke a pass away from Devontae Adams in that London game as well. And whenever he was lined up against Devontae Adams, he did a good job against him. Adams has had 3 touchdowns in the game, but they were all within 5 yards of the end zone. And all of those were when in their goal line package, Travis Hunter was not on the field. So he's already gotten that part down. I'd like to see him focus on the offense and then kind of combine the two once he has finally kind of gotten everything settled there.
And so last kind of question about that is, if he would only come back one or the other, man, are we going to look back at this, everything they gave up to get him to get a wide receiver? So you really do hope he comes back and can do both and do it well. And even then, are we going to feel like there's the return on all that they gave up? Because they gave up quite a bit to move up one spot, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. And it also kind of depends on what the Browns do with that, because like the Browns, they made a big play to trade down to give the Falcons Julio Jones, but they didn't really do anything with it. So everybody says that the Falcons won that trade. And if that's the case here, if the Browns continue, to do what they've done in the past and not draft particularly well, then it's going to be a win, I think, for the Jaguars, as long as Travis Hunter plays well on one side of the football or the other.
And it was more than one spot up, wasn't it? They moved more than one spot, I think.
Yeah, I think they went from 5 to 2. So
yeah, that makes more sense.
So it was a good jump there. But I mean, I had him ranked on my board both as a wide receiver and as a cornerback, as like almost 2 separate players. As a wide receiver, he was still my top player on the draft board. Because I think he can be that good once he kind of learns the offense. He was the top contested catch guy at Colorado in his senior season. And he's just a very good fluid route runner. And it kind of reminds me a lot of what Justin Jefferson's able to do. So if you're able to get that player, and that's the side of the ball that he stays on, then I think even if the Browns do get some good picks out of it, then you can say at least it was a wash. But I mean, a lot of that's just going to be up to whatever Travis Hunter does in the next couple of years.
All right. Well, sorry to detour us there. You were getting ready to ask Brandon about a player.
Mr. Elton Jenkins. Yeah.
Yes.
He broke his leg last night in the game. So he is on IR. I have no idea which bone it was that he broke. I don't know if it was the major bone in his left leg, lower left leg, or if it was part of the foot muscles, right? Or foot bones. But as far as I understand, he's likely out for the season.
What part of the game was that in? Was that in the big?
I think it was second half. It was in the second half. I don't know if it was third or fourth quarter. what had happened is Jordan ran with the ball, was kind of hiding behind Elton Jenkins while he was blocking. Jordan got tackled and went right into his leg, and you could see it. They showed it on the broadcast. His leg went from this and then immediately went in a 90-degree angle. Not what you want to see out of your starting center, a guy that's been a bona fide leader on this offensive line and probably the most consistent guy over the past 5 seasons for us on the offensive line. So it's hard to see him go. If we know anything about the Packers, we don't know who's going to be at center next week. Sean Ryan came in as the interim center. Matt LaFleur likes to move offensive linemen around to find the ideal lineup. So I don't know if they're going to try Aaron Banks at center, if they're going to bring Zach Tom in. Zach Tom has got a little bit of center experience from a couple seasons ago with Aaron Rodgers. So we'll just see what happens this next week. I imagine whoever the starting 5 is come this next week against the Giants, it will not be the same the entire game. So I think they're going to start with one setup, and by the end of the game, we're going to see at least 2 people flip-flop. So I would imagine Zach Tom probably gets the start, moving him in from right tackle to center, and then probably moving Sean Ryan in the second half into that center role and Zach Tom back to the right tackle role.
Well, we hope he gets well soon, whatever bone it was in his leg.
Yeah. I mean, he walked off the field, and I mean, it was tough to watch him walk. Like, there definitely should have been a cart. It was.
He's like, I'm just going to hurt this a little more as I walk off the field.
Yeah, and we all know offensive linemen are not known for being 150 pounds, right? So when the training staff is helping you and you're kind of using them as crutches, and the training staff is 150 pounds to 175 pounds, it takes like 4 grown men to move one offensive lineman. 4 normal grown men, people like us, to move these offensive linemen and defensive linemen for that argument as well.
Yeah. What else we got, Josh, in the way of news?
Well, on the other side of the injury coin is one specific player coming back from injury and returning to the practice field. That is Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals. They have opened up his 21-day window to return, which means if he's going to play again in this season, or at least be active again in this season, it has to be done within the next 3 weeks, or else he automatically reverts back to the full season IR and misses the rest of the season. So they must have some confidence that Joe Burrow is going to be ready to go pretty soon here.
Either that, or they're like, if we're close and he can possibly go, but if we're not close, we're just going to let it expire and look at next year. So could be. Can Joe Burrow get this team back into the playoff conversation, especially when right now the top of that AFC North division is only 5-4 with the Pittsburgh Steelers? They're not completely out of this race. I think they're only 2 games back, with one of those games against the Steelers coming up. Yeah, they're at 3-6. Steelers at 5-4, but the Ravens have vaulted up to 4-5, only 1 game out from where they were. Could they? Well, anything I think is possible. Is it likely? I don't think so, because I don't think Joe Flacco is the biggest part of their problem right now on that team. And I don't know if Joe Burrow at not 100% is going to come in and make up the difference for the rest of the team. Yeah, Joe Flacco has looked better than almost any other time in his career other than that Super Bowl run. Right. So I would agree with that. It's been the defense that hasn't been able to stop anybody, despite the offense putting up sometimes 40 points per game, like they did a couple of weeks ago against the Chicago Bears. So I agree. It is a very tough hill to climb. I do think they still have one, if not both of their games left against the Ravens. And they've already beaten the Steelers once this season. So that at least allows them some control of their own destiny throughout the rest of the final half of the season, if Joe Burrow comes back this week, next week, or 3 weeks from now. And if I had to guess right now, my money is that the Ravens end up jumping up and taking this division. The way things are looking right now, that's just where my money is. Yeah. I would agree. I think that's where I think they were even the favorites in Las Vegas, even when they were 1-5, because they were favored.
in the 8 or 9 games immediately following that 1-5 start, because the assumption was, oh yeah, Lamar Jackson's back and we're going to favor this team against whatever other team they're up against, and they're going to probably win 5 or 6 of those games. And yeah, I think that's where the smart money is right now.
And not just Lamar being back, but that defense has looked better since he's been back. So
yeah.
And then we also have a couple of deaths that the former commissioner Paul Tagliabue died over the weekend, and then the edge rusher for the Dallas Cowboys, of course, Marshawn Kneeland, passed away at the age of 24 with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So obviously tough on that front. He had just scored a touchdown on Monday Night Football the couple days before. And then ends up in a police chase. He gets away from the police, crashes his car, and then leaves his car with a weapon, and that is when he decided to take his own life. So tragic stuff there.
Anything around? So like at first you're like, was he just in such a place that he thought, I'm in so much trouble, I've messed it up too far? Or was there something going on in that car that shouldn't have been? Is that why he ran? Have you heard any more?
I believe from what I've heard is that he had been sending text messages to his girlfriend and to family members. And even the NFL called the, I forgot what city in Texas it was where all of this happened, but the NFL called the Texas DPS of that city, and because he had been, I think, making some threats or had kind of been showing some worrisome behavior in the text messages that he had sent to his girlfriend and to other family members. I'm not sure if it was at the point, if he went into the car thinking that he was going to find a place to end his life, or if it was accelerated by either the crash, because I believe he crashed into a car after he had evaded police. And yeah, they weren't able to, they haven't revealed those details about when those texts and everything were sent, but yeah, it definitely is. You go from, the high of your career to the lowest moment in the span of just a couple of days.
Very sad. Do either of you remember when Paul Tagliabue was the commissioner?
I do not. The only memory of him I have is the NFL Films stuff on the Randy Moss draft, where they just go through he's going through every single one of the players that was drafted ahead of Randy Moss in the 1998 NFL draft up in front of everybody, and then finally gets to Randy Moss. And that's the extent of my knowledge of what Paul Tagliabue did for the NFL.
I remember when he was the commissioner. And I remember how it seemed like so many people hated him when he was the commissioner there at the end, and then Roger Goodell came in and
always hate the commissioner. Yeah,
always you got to hate the commissioner. Yeah, I was just thinking the other day. I think it was because the Berlin game was Roger Goodell there. I feel like he was, and they put the camera on him. I'm like, man, it's weird. I haven't really thought of him all season long, which is good. If you're the commissioner, the thing you really don't want is people thinking about you, because that means that there's nobody hating really loudly on you. So good for him, I guess, right now. But
yeah.
Anything else?
I have nothing else on the news front.
I've got two things. There was a very hot off the press free agent signing this past week. We have Asante Samuel Jr. signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers on their practice squad officially.
Okay.
Okay.
He worked out with the Packers. I think he worked out with the Colts as well prior to the Sauce trade.
Worked out with the Vikings as well. Yeah.
Worked out with the Vikings. He worked out with 6 or 7 NFL teams. Did land on Steelers practice squad, so he's under practice squad roles. You could technically snatch him off of there, but I imagine that they're going to promote him to active roster pretty quick. And then we have running back Josh Williams out of Tampa Bay was suspended for 6 games for violating the league's substance performing enhancement policy.
Yes. And one injury we didn't talk about happened this last week, but it's since our last broadcast. DeForest Buckner went on 4-game IR just before this game in Berlin. We were just getting Sauce Gardner. We were all excited, and then all of a sudden we hear Buckner goes on IR. We're like, no. Hopefully he'll come back strong, but this means that he won't be with us for the Kansas City game. So that's sad.
Well,
Well,
still
then,
got Grover Stewart.
What's that?
Grover Stewart, right? He'll get the job done for you.
Yeah, and there was a play in there where he was looking. I think he went to the medical tent, and we're all like, "No," because when it comes to run stopping, if you don't have Buck, you need Grover in there. Yeah. And so hopefully we'll get them both back, and it'll be even better than as we're coming to this last stretch of the season. But it's always tough to see somebody that you can count on go out and be like, okay, I hope the backups can handle it while he's gone. So they did all right this week against Bijan Robinson. So we'll get to that though in a minute. But first, we're going to get to our mid-season awards section. We've come to this place now. Where are we? We just finished week 9, 10, 10.
Week 10.
Yes.
Week 10.
Finished week 10.
So we're just a little past halfway, far enough that we should be able to start getting some idea of who looks like they're going to win these different awards. And so Josh is going to go through and give us the award title. We're going to talk about maybe who are some of the top people in consideration, and then maybe look at who we think might get those. So Josh.
Yeah, I mean, the big one that everyone loves is the MVP. So let's talk about some candidates there. Drake May with the New England Patriots. I don't have the odds board up in front of me, mostly because my contacts fell out and I am completely literally I'm not figuratively going in blind into this segment, but I'm literally going in blind to this segment.
Nice.
We've got guys like Drake May. You've got Patrick Mahomes, you've got Matthew Stafford, who's had a really good season. And if we want to turn the clock back to 2012, when the last time a running back won the award, you can't leave Jonathan Taylor out of this conversation. For me, I like Drake May and Jonathan Taylor as the two front runners. I love what Drake May has been able to do with the Patriots so far this season. I mean, they are off to an 8-2 start. He has been phenomenal each and every game and has really lifted a Patriots team that spent 2 years in the rubble back to not its most prominent point, but to a place of prominence so far at the top of the AFC East. And then, of course, Jonathan Taylor. I think he would be my pick. In May is more who I would predict the voters to go for, because they just always seem to go for a quarterback. But for me right now, it would be Jonathan Taylor. It was another 3-touchdown game for him with well over 200 yards. He
almost had 300 yards, 286. He was 14 yards shy. I'm like, could you not have got him 14 more yards somehow? So
is that total yards or just rushing?
Total. He had 244 rushing, and then like a whatever it was to get up to 286, 40 something. Yeah. So, he just had his 5th 3-touchdown game of this year, which ties LaDainian Tomlinson all time. I think LaDainian had 5 of those. He broke the Colts record. It was Lenny, what's his name? I just forgot it.
Lenny Moore?
Yeah, the running back from yesteryear. He had 4 of those in his career, and he also broke Edgerrin James' all-time touchdown record this last week, not by just 1, but by 2. He is beyond that. He is first in yards, first in touchdowns, first in all the major categories for a running back. But he is on pace to beat LaDainian's all-time touchdown record for a running back. So depending on, if he would get injured and then, is out and it goes way down, if he could keep going I think he needs 1.5 or 1.7. I forget what it is. I think he needs 1.5 touchdowns a game, and he's on a 1.7 touchdowns per game. It's always weird to me how they do that stuff. But right now he is on track to beating LaDainian Tomlinson's record, and LaDainian won that as the last time. And I think there has been enough people saying, I know this always goes to the quarterback, but he needs to be in the conversation with us. And there's been enough people saying that hopefully it's in the zeitgeist, and everybody who is voting is like, oh yeah, this is not just a quarterback. Look at what he's done. Because I do think if he gets even close to that, and especially if he breaks LaDainian Tomlinson's records, then he needs to be that. Drake May, yeah, he's doing a good job. Good job. They've had a really weak schedule. Yes, it's true. So is it as impressive? No, but is it still good? Yeah. Love what Drake May's doing, but this should be, if a running back kind of breaks all the records and is what he could be, there definitely needs to be something happen, and I think it was several people, talking heads of this last year, this last week, and I forget who said it first, but several people repeated it. It's like, if he doesn't win, then there needs to be an MVP and an MVQP or whatever, like the most valuable quarterback player. Anyway, because they would see that as a travesty if he didn't. So my vote right now, if things continue to go the way they are, is Jonathan Taylor. And I'm not going to lie, the Colts did not look incredibly efficient and inspiring this last week. He basically picked him up, put him on his back, and ran all over the place. He has the longest touchdown run of the season now at 83 yards, touchdown run this week. And so that one was big, but he did 3 of them, and they all mattered. So yeah. I'll quit going on and on about my crush, Jonathan Taylor now.
I think his major production is also a big reason why Daniel Jones has had a lot of the success that he's been able to have, just because of extra protection on the play actions, because those are more effective, and just more time to throw the football because you've got the defense guessing, and that's really allowed Daniel Jones to kind of take the next step that he hadn't been able to take with New York over the last couple of seasons. And then I also think pretty much every running back that has broken the single season record has won the MVP. Like LaDainian Tomlinson won it in 2006. He broke Sean Alexander, who won it in 2005, who broke Priest Holmes, who I think won it in 2003. So I think all of those guys, even in quarterback heavy leagues at that time, were able to break through the noise and win MVP awards. So if he is able to do that, I think he would be he would have to be the shoe-in, and especially if he can do that and maybe even go up over 2,000 rushing yards. I think that would be very hard for even the most ardent quarterback supporters to ignore.
Right, because Drake May would have to beat some of the biggest quarterback records in order to be oh yeah, this is comparable. And as good as he's playing, I don't know if he's going to break, passing yards or, whatever. He's playing highly efficiently. He's doing really good with that. But so
I'm going to hop in. Matthew's podcasted with me this is our 5th season, Matthew.
6th.
6th. Long enough to know that whenever we talk MVP awards, I'm our guy that's like, why are we only talking quarterbacks?
You are that guy.
And so it should be to no surprise of all 9 of our listeners that have listened for the past 6 seasons, that I'm going to say, I like this Jonathan Taylor poll. And I'll go into different players for offensive rookie of the year as well, and offensive player of the year. But I have this whole rant, and you can probably see it on half of the podcasts from 2022 and 2023 on the NFL overvalues the quarterback position. They put way too much into it, right? And I'm not saying it's not important. I do think having a valuable quarterback is essential for a thriving organization. But I don't think it should be 90% of the reason that you explain your success, right? It should be 35, 40%, right? We're overinflating what the quarterback position really is. And it goes into this argument where I've listened to a lot of the people that vote for these MVP awards, and a lot of them will say, well, it has to be the person that's most valuable to the team. That, my vote is going to the person where if I remove that person from this organization, it wasn't even particularly close. And for everyone, it's just been the quarterback. And I understand Josh Allen, very important, very valuable player to the Buffalo Bills. I understand Lamar Jackson, very important. Aaron Rodgers to the Packers, very important. But we've just completely skipped over other people that you couldn't imagine these quarterbacks' success without those people. And this year, now if Daniel Jones was in the MVP conversation and Jonathan Taylor wasn't, like I would be slightly more frustrated, right? Because I think Jonathan Taylor, as of right now, is more important to the Indianapolis Colts than Daniel Jones is. Now, that's not saying that Daniel Jones is not valuable to the Indianapolis Colts and the success that they've had this year. I'm saying that Jonathan Taylor is more valuable to their success, at least as of right now.
Yeah, it's such a weird combination because Jonathan Taylor's having a better year because Daniel Jones is playing without making a bunch of errors. Well, till these last 2 weeks, but
and that happens, right?
But Daniel Jones is playing well and not making a lot of mistakes because Jonathan Taylor takes so much of that load off and has been like better in the passing game and better. I mean, just amazing everywhere. But I agree. I think if Daniel Jones were being considered above Jonathan Taylor, I'd be like, whoa, okay, hold on. I love what he's doing, but he's not there.
Yeah. And I've got a big rant if we flash back to 2020 on the offensive rookie of the year. It really came down to two people. There was Justin Jefferson, someone that Josh knows quite well, and Justin Herbert. And both guys are incredibly vital to their rookie years in those organizations. And I thought Justin Jefferson should have been the offensive rookie of the year over Justin Herbert. And I love Justin Herbert. Everyone knows this. But Justin Jefferson brought something different that the Vikings vitally needed for their success that season. Where I thought Justin Herbert was okay. Like he was just consistent. Like
he was good.
He didn't
was
bring
like lots of quarterbacks.
Yeah. And it was overinflated.
Yeah. And to Brandon's point about it being a valuable player and overinflating quarterbacks, we've had great running back seasons since 2012, but they've also all been in conjunction with good quarterbacks who have overshadowed them. Do you guys know the quarterback of the last running back to win the MVP award? So last running back, it was Adrian Peterson was the running back back in 2012 for the Vikings. Do you guys know who his quarterback was?
That would have to be I can see his
pre
face.
Kirk Cousins, right?
Yeah, it was pre Kirk Cousins. It was Dante Culpepper.
Huh? It was not Dante Culpepper. It was not Brett Favre. It was Christian Ponder. So yeah,
no, I would never
biggest
have known
Vikings quarterback bust in all time, and they made the playoffs because of that big season. So if you're overshadowed by your quarterback, even if you have that big season, you do not get the credit you deserve. And I think because Daniel Jones kind of had that same sort of perception on him coming into the season, and now you can say that the key factor making a difference in that has been not only Shane Steichen but Jonathan Taylor. I think that case can be made for him to win, for him to realistically win the first running back MVP since 2012. But if he doesn't win that, he will most assuredly win the Offensive Player of the Year award, which is essentially the non-quarterback MVP award in everything but name. Some players there, obviously Jonathan Taylor. One of them, Jackson Smith and Jigba, would be the top receiver. I could also see if Puka Nacua stops getting injured in the middle of games, he would also be a big guy. But what are your guys' thoughts for the Offensive Player of the Year?
I've often viewed this one as just the backup to the MVP award, not really the Offensive Player of the Year. And so I want to throw Drake May into that conversation as well. It's not out of the question for a quarterback to take the award home, although it's not as often, right? But like, I would love to see a role reversal this year where JT takes home the MVP and Drake May takes home Offensive Player of the Year.
I could live with that.
And paying respects to each one. And I know Matthew could live with that one very easily.
I do think Njigba's been a great wide receiver, though, and I think he's definitely probably in that conversation.
Yeah, right now the odds-on favorite is Jonathan Taylor at -400. But if you wanted to do the old switcheroo that Brandon is describing, you could get Drake May at +8,000. May is the odds-on favorite right now for MVP at +250. So
so sad.
And
So
Jonathan
sad.
Taylor, he's fourth there. He's ahead of Josh Allen, behind Patrick Mahomes so
See,
far.
that's what I don't understand. Patrick Mahomes has not been like killer crazy good this year. Why is he even in this conversation? He's had a couple good games.
Because it's overvalued. I've been
But
screaming
like,
this from the mountaintops.
I think even more than like quarterback being overvalued, you get to quarterbacks are overvalued above other positions, and then you got quarterbacks, and you got Patrick Mahomes is overvalued for even quarterbacks. It's like, what has he done this year that has been most valuable player? I think if anybody in their team has been most valuable player, it's been like having those fast receivers, Xavier Worthy and
Hollywood
Rice.
Brown and Rashee Rice.
The guys who made it possible for him to like look good. I don't know. I get so sick of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and to that point, even to that, and his voice, by the way,
and his voice
sounds like Kermit the Frog. But to that point, even last year at this time, I remember we had a similar conversation, and I believe Patrick Mahomes was still at the top of the MVP odds, despite having more interceptions or about the same amount of interceptions as touchdowns. And obviously that's not the only stat, but if you have those stats, you're probably not putting yourself at the top of most MVP leaderboards. I think it's mostly because you don't want to be the bookkeeper that puts Patrick Mahomes at like anything under plus 500, and then he goes on and has a stellar second half of the season, and
they're hedging their bets until we get to like later in the year where it's like, okay, somebody is clearly like at the top of the board, we'll change it.
Yeah.
So he's behind Jonathan Taylor's behind Patrick Mahomes, Drake May, and who?
Matthew Stafford would be the other one, who has thrown a lot of I think he only has like 1 or 2 interceptions and has thrown like an absurd amount of touchdowns because their offense has just been really good and they're throwing it a lot down in the red zone. So Matthew Stafford is on that list too. But yeah, for the offensive player, the top 4 are Jonathan Taylor, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua, and then Christian McCaffrey, who I think could also be in the conversation for most valuable player. We want to talk about pure value just because
that team. Yeah.
Because he's carried them all the way to the playoffs, but I don't even think he is on my top 10 here of MVP odds, but he is number 4 for the offensive player of the year. Going on the defensive player of the year, this is usually, a lot of times it's going to be given to the guy who has the most sacks, especially if that's an absurd amount. Last year was Pat Surtain, who was a shutdown corner, and he definitely deserved it last year. This year, the top, all of the ones that I have are pass rushers on my top 10 list. Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson, Nick Bonito, and Will Anderson are the top 5. I think Will Anderson has had like the highest pressure rate and quick pressure rate among these guys. I think Myles Garrett has Micah Parsons has the most total amount of pressures so far this season. Aiden Hutchinson and Myles Garrett have all been very good as well. And so is Nick Bonito. For me, I would be fine if any of these 5 guys win. If it is going to be just an edge rusher, which is what it looks like the odds makers are saying.
Nick Bonito, what team's he?
He is on the Denver Broncos.
Okay. That's the only one I didn't know by name. When you said that, I'm like, who? Okay.
Yeah.
I think all those guys, definitely when you play those teams, that's the guy you're looking out for. Again, I didn't know about Nick Bonito. Sorry, Nick.
When he listens to this.
When he listens to this, he's going to be very mad at me. He's going to write me an email.
Well, actually, there was another podcast. NFL Daily did a podcast where their host wrote off Nick Bonito or at least the Denver Broncos defense, and he retweeted that host after a dominant Broncos performance. So if
he does that, we're going to get some free publicity, because no publicity is bad publicity for us. So you'll see me being like, who's Nick Bonito play for?
Yeah. I'm going to come into this defensive player of the year thing. Last year, Josh was on the podcast when I talked about this. I didn't think there were enough secondary players getting recognized, and complete bias. I thought Xavier McKinney should have been in that conversation, right? I thought Kirby Joseph should have been in that conversation, because both of them were playing out of their minds and at the top of the league in both of their respects. I was glad that a secondary member did win it. But now I'm flipping. I heard Micah Parsons, and I am all in.
Somehow I knew which pass rusher of that list you were pulling for.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
truthfully, he is a game wrecker.
he
Still.
is, and and he's still on a snap count, so he's not playing every down for the amount of money he's being paid. And I get it, because we want longevity out of Micah Parsons. I don't want him for 4 quarters of every snap on defense, right? But when he's out there and Jeff Hafley's moving him around, and this happens with other people too, I just don't care about them as much. Jeff Hafley's moving him around. He's like, he'll play over the center. He'll come on the left. He'll come on the right. And every time offenses, they're like, hey, you see this guy? Don't miss your block. And so they'll allocate 2 to 3 blockers every down just on Micah Parsons. And it's insane to see some of those things. And I will never forget, one of my favorite Packers plays of my entire career was Micah Parsons, his first game in Green Bay, and his sack on Jared Goff and the Lions. Because he was triple teamed, broke the triple coverage, and then hunted down Jared Goff, being like 20 yards behind him. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And it's going to be one of my all-time favorite Packers plays of my lifetime. It's going to be that Micah Parsons sack. And for those reasons, and his substantial career that he had with Jerry in Dallas, I so desperately want him to get this award.
Yeah, he's been really good. If there's one off the beaten path non-edge rusher guy that I would put my hat that I would want to be at least mentioned, it would be Kyle Hamilton with the Ravens, because once they acquired Alohi Gilman and were able to make him just the free roaming safety, and Kyle Hamilton didn't have to do that and could play in the box, which is his most natural position. He took that Ravens defense from the worst in the league and the worst in Baltimore franchise history all the way to one of the top defensive units, just by him moving into his more natural position. So he's been a big difference maker there.
Yeah.
Offensive rookie of the year. We'll do a couple more. Emeka Egbuka is your favorite, followed by Jackson Dart, Tyler Warren, Tet McMillan, and then Browns running back Quinshon Judkins. So no Cam Ward. Dylan Gabriel is even has better odds right now than Cam Ward to win. For me, I would have to go non-quarterback this year, and it be either the tight end, who's been phenomenal, in Tyler Warren, and if not him, then Emeka Egbuka, who really, they brought him in. They drafted him to be kind of like this embarrassment of riches guy at wide receiver. You have Godwin, you have Mike Evans, and now you add this really good, solid number 3 guy. He's had to be the number 1 through most of the season for Tampa Bay, and he has had a big time season. But meanwhile, Tyler Warren just continues to impress, like he did at Penn State when he was getting the ball in all sorts of different formations and all sorts of different routes. So he has done a lot to help that Colts team, and especially to help out Daniel Jones, to always give him kind of an outlet option when nothing else is available. And a lot of time he's the primary target for Daniel Jones. So I like both of those guys. I think, Matthew, you're probably leaning in one certain direction. But,
truthfully, the 2 you mentioned are the 2 that I agree. I agree with both of those. When it comes to the Colts, Tyler Warren has been huge for us. But I look at, there have been like basically 4 really big players on the Colts this year. Daniel Jones came in and made a difference. He's doing it differently than all of the old quarterbacks we've had the last 7 years, and Anthony Richardson. He's just doing it differently. Jonathan Taylor, we've already talked about. He's doing it differently. And then I feel like you could add 3 players to that. Tyler Warren is the first one, Alec Pierce, and Josh Downs. Alec Pierce has just been like that. He's become known as that guy who goes down the field and gets it. He's like, for the past 2 years, had the highest like per reception yardage, and he can high point the ball really well. And Josh Downs is kind of that, like the blanket. What's the term? Security blanket. But Tyler Warren has been probably even more of that, because he is just so big. And I just love how every time he catches the ball, I can guarantee you that one of the two guys commentating the game is going to be like, and Tyler Warren rumbles down for another first. That rumbles down. Anytime you get it to a big tight end, they always use that terminology. But it's funny because I hear it so often. You get different crews calling different games, and they all throw that Tyler Warren rumbles, blah blah blah. But he does, and but he's not just that. He's been a fullback. He's been he threw the ball as like a quarterback, took a direct snap. He just, like you said, he lines up everywhere. And I think, man, I know Cortland. There was some graphic I saw where it's like Cortland Loveland has gotten Player of the Week 1 out of 0, one time in the year, and he's gotten I forget what, basically 3 stats that were all for the same game, and they're like, Tyler Warren has got none of these, and it's like, 100-yard day game, and Player of the Week, and player, I forget what, but it was funny because like Tyler Warren has been like consistently better all year, and everybody I know would be like, we'd take Tyler Warren right now over Cortland Loveland. Not that Cortland Loveland's bad, but it's just a ridiculous sort of cherry picked stat that somebody picked and put up on their little Twitter feed, and everybody in the comments just laughed him off the board. So
yeah, you see the issue with Bears fans now, Matthew.
Yeah,
congratulations.
I will say with Colston Loveland, he's not on the top 10. In
Colston.
fact, there is another.
I said Cortland, but it's Colston.
There is one other tight end that is above him. He's not in my top 10, but from the Chargers, Oronde Gadsden, the second, is also has better odds than Loveland. Loveland, for whatever reason, hasn't been able to break into the lineup because Cole Kmet has been blocking him, because Cole Kmet is at least somewhat decent of a blocker. But his one big game and I had both of these guys ranked at almost the exact same spot, and it was just down to preference based on who I liked better in terms of I want a vertical route running tight end. But both of them are very good. For Loveland, when Kmet was injured in that game, that was the game where he had his big day. However, it was also against the Cincinnati Bengals defense, so that performance can be taken with a grain of salt. A dark horse guy, Travion Henderson had a really big game, and Ramondre Stevenson is injured and still questionable to return even this week. So Henderson could start moving up the boards after a big week last week, if he can continue that and face lighter boxes, which he probably will with Drake May throwing it as well as he is.
Now, let me ask this question. If we were talking pre-draft in this, I think there is a de facto guy that's supposed to be the offensive rookie of the year, and I want to know where he stacks on your list, Josh. Where is Shedeur Sanders?
Not on my top 10 here from ESPN. So Dylan Gabriel is on it. His quarterback, that's fellow rookie that's starting above him, but he's at plus 15,000. So it's very long odds. These are, I think at that point it's just a dart throw, but yeah, there's no Shedeur Sanders on this board. So unless he puts together a miracle second half, then he will not win offensive rookie of the year. But like the favorite going into the year was Ashton Genty, and he's at plus 4,000 right now. Yeah. So he has not had a great season, not necessarily because he hasn't been good, but because the Raiders offensive line has let everything get into the backfield. Yeah. So it's been just tough to kind of judge who he's been at all this season. Finally, we'll do defensive rookie of the year. Carson Schweschinger is the Browns linebacker. He's the favorite. He's also on IR with designation to return, so he's going to miss some time. Nick Emenwari, the safety for the Seattle Seahawks. Abdul Carter, Jihad Campbell, and then edge rusher for the Cowboys, Donovan Ezaraku, is on that list as well. I really like Jihad Campbell, and he has been really good at basically doing the same thing that Zach Bond has done in Philadelphia. And so it's nice that they're just like right next to each other, because he takes a lot of seam stuff down out of play for a lot of these quarterbacks. Anything with your tight end or with your slot receiver that you're trying to get against to cover 3 in the seams, him and or Zach Bond are going to be there. His run defense, I think last night got tested a little bit against the Packers because he is a little bit smaller and had to go up try to tackle Josh Jacobs. And I think he got bowled over a couple of times. But he's one that I would like. And if not him, I also like Will Johnson, the Cardinals cornerback, to make a late run. He's been a shutdown guy for them in their system, and has been really, really solid. I don't know if you guys have any.
I know very little about defensive rookies right now, so I don't even have enough to give an opinion on these guys.
I mean, I've got Baron Sorrell. He's the guy that I watch most often. Packers, 4th round pick. He's done a couple things, but not defensive rookie of the year. Now I have heard this whole season, Josh has been over the moon about Abdul Carter, over the moon, over there in New York. And so I'm going to go with him. I trust you. I know he's not the guy you mentioned, but I'll watch him this week when they play the Packers.
He's had kind of like the same season like that Jared Verse had last year, where Verse didn't have like hardly any sacks. I think he only has a half sack or a sack this year, does Abdul Carter, but he has one of the higher pressure rates in the NFL. He just hasn't been able to finish those off quite yet. So he's had a good season, but I don't know if the numbers will get him there over a guy like Schlesinger or G.I. Campbell.
Yeah, and those pressure rates, oh my gosh, they're so important. it helps your secondary a lot. I mean, if you have great pressure up front and a quarterback knows what they're doing, I mean, they shouldn't get sacked unless they're trying to extend the play. But it shrinks the field so much. Oh my gosh. Instead of giving them 30 yards, now you have 15 or 20 yards. I mean, that's huge on your defense.
Yeah, for sure. But that's all I have for awards. Those are the guys that we think are going to win here at the Football Fandemic. Any final thoughts from y'all about that specifically?
No, I'm watching that MVP race very closely, and we'll see what happens as this year progresses, and if it turns into a record-breaking year. Oh, the celebration, because that'll mean things are going well in Indy.
Here's one award I want to add to that. I've been tracking this over the past 2 years. Out of all of these rookies we just mentioned for offensive and defensive player, who will be the first one to leave their current team?
Oh man. Out of the are we narrowing it down to the guys that we've mentioned only?
The ones that we've just mentioned, right? So take Shedeur Sanders out of there. I imagine he's probably going to be the first one, right? He's going to demand a trade and end up somewhere.
Man, I would say I don't know if any. I mean, maybe Ashton Genty to get out of Las Vegas
if he's really not feeling it there.
Especially if that offensive line continues to be as leaky as it has been. I think for me, he would be the guy. Maybe Travion Henderson if Ramondre Stevenson returns and they continue to give him the bulk of the carries and he continues to put the ball on the ground and Henderson gets 5 touches a game for the rest of the season. But I would think it would have to be one of those guys demanding their way out of a less than ideal situation for them. And for me, it would be Genty.
I have nothing really to add beyond that.
I'm gonna go with a super hot take here, and I'm gonna say Travis Hunter.
Oh,
he's gonna be out of Jacksonville, mostly due to injury. They're gonna cut him.
Wow.
Okay,
that'd be a big cut.
That's my hot take, right?
That is a hot take.
I'm going him.
Well, we'll keep our eye on that to see. That's going to
3
be
years from now. 3 years from now.
Well, hey, let's go
on
to
keep these guys on rookies contracts.
Let's go on to looking at our kind of rewind back to the week that we just had. Look at some of these games. We started off the Thursday night football game with a real stinker. Broncos and Raiders, 10-7, boring ball, pure Thursday night. I don't know. Did you guys have any thoughts on this one? All it told me was maybe the Broncos defense is really good, but is the Raiders really good, or is it the Broncos offense really bad? This is one of those things that keep me from, even though they're sitting at 8-2 and they're one of the 3 teams at 8-2, I don't feel super confident about the Broncos because I have not seen an offense that inspires me hardly ever this year.
I would like to thank Jeff Bezos and Amazon Prime and whoever invented the spider camera that allows us to get the all 22 angle on Prime Vision, because now I feel vindicated that the entire national media has discovered, oh wait, Bo Nix is not good.
Josh was right.
Look at all of his turn downs. Look how bad he's missing a lot of these receivers. It was a really bad game from Bo Nix. I don't know what the numbers said, but Bo Nix's numbers always say that he had a good game for whatever reason. But when you look at it, it's like, oh, it was just a lot of yards after catch. So I feel like we have, in this war against Bo Nix, I took some hits last year. And now we have finally begun to push along the Western Front and making some headway into Denver. So Bo Nix back on the fall.
Nothing to say about that one, Brandon. Brandon like just takes a deep sigh.
My only comment is like, who do you prefer to fall? If one guy had a fall, is it Bo Nix or Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, Bo Nix, 100%. I am always a fan of, like, I will bandwagon onto any good offense. Like I will jump onto the 2007 Patriots bandwagon. I'll jump onto my first favorite team was the 99 St. Louis Rams. So like I love a good offense. So if Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have a good offense, then I start to, except for the Packers. The 2011 Packers, did not like them.
I would have to say I would root for Patrick Mahomes to fall. I mean, it's just let's just be real.
Some contention in podcast land today.
Speaking of the 1999 St. Louis Rams, Kurt Warner was calling this next game. It was Colts Falcons in Berlin, and he made the comment several times. He's like, I haven't seen an offense like this since, when I was playing. And he kept talking about like my number 28, Marshall Faulk, would always, I feel like this is what Daniel Jones has. You always want to, instead of selling that RPO, you want to look around and see what they're doing, because it could be just an amazing play, yeah, we had Colts Falcons in Berlin. This was the Sunday morning for the second game on our list here today. And it was, I think, for the international crowd, a great game, right? They got to see like going back and forth, get up, overtime, an overtime win. They saw, 3 touchdowns with lots of yards from a running back for those who are Colts fans. Everything they could have wanted because if you think about a lot of these international games they get are like the Jaguars versus the Giants. And it's like, oh, the poor international team, look what they got. They got junk again. This was a pretty good game. The unfortunate part is the Colts could have not won this one pretty easily because just for the second week in a row, we saw it against Pittsburgh and we saw it here. There was some ball security issues. There was the ball was on the ground more than it should have been. 2 of those early, we got it back. The ball got on the ground and the Colts got it back, so it didn't end up hurting us, but could have. Hold on. I'm gonna step away for just a minute and let these guys carry on. But we're gonna come back to this game. They'll go to the next one. I'll be right back.
All right. Game of the week, probably, at least for giving the game away. Let's talk New York, Chicago.
Yeah, the Chicago Bears come and win this one 24-20. Man, I liked what I saw from both of these quarterbacks before Jackson Dart obviously got injured, and I think that kind of gave the Bears a fair, open runway to land this into a win. Caleb Williams' numbers didn't look great, but for me, it was probably the most impressive I've seen him since coming into the pros, and kind of showcased a lot of what made him the number 1 overall draft pick, because he was doing a lot of scrambling and throwing at weird arm angles. And a lot of times it didn't work out, but a lot of that was because the ball was stone cold and nobody was able to catch it, because he has such a good fastball. But he was able to, within those weird positions, still have strong throws and accurate throws. Whereas, like, for instance, we'll talk about later, JJ McCarthy, when he was on the run or when he had to execute, it was a more hit or miss when he was at those different arm angles. So for Caleb Williams to take that step forward, and it's just one game, I do like that. But I also really like what I saw from Jackson Dart, who I think for me, this has been also his best game as a pro prior to the concussion, because he was firing it all over the field. He was making his reads a lot more quickly than usual. He was getting deeper into his progressions and taking a lot more shots down the field. But the Bears win on a week when the Packers and Vikings lose, both to our chagrin. Brandon, what slander do you have to say against the Chicago Bears?
Well, I think first thing is, I think this is officially our first snow game of the season. There wasn't much snow, but a giant polar vortex came down from Canada. I don't think there was snow in Denver Thursday night, and I don't think there was snow in Berlin Sunday morning, meaning that any game that got snow on Sunday noon Central, was the first snow game of the season. So I was going through NFL Red Zone, watching Scott Hansen commentate this game. Jackson Dart looked really good on the run. Like when he was getting out and needing to extend the play, I was like, okay, he wasn't forcing the ball where the ball didn't need to go, which I imagine Brian Daboll installed a lot of that in him, being a quarterback-minded coach, right? But nothing infuriates me more than seeing the Bears come back for a victory. Nothing. Like I'm serious. I was feeling pretty good. And then Scott Hansen came out and said, and it looks like the Bears have a chance to win the game. And then they won the game. And that was the end of it. And I was like, oh, geez, I got to go for a walk or do something. And there's my Bears slander for the week. Probably not totally. I'm sure we'll talk about their game next week, whoever they play. Week 11.
Oh, they play the Vikings. They play Minnesota. So
all right, Skull Vikings.
There we go. Ian, and how you felt in that game, probably akin to how I felt during a 2015 Sunday or Monday night game between the Lions and Packers, where Aaron Rodgers threw a Hail Mary at the end to win it. That is the variation.
I understand the other side of it, right? No one wants to take that pain ever. But we're talking the Bears comeback victory, Matthew.
We went right past Saints Panthers, which wasn't as exciting a game as I thought it would be. And then Giants Bears. Yes, the Bears looked like halfway through the fourth they were not going to make it when they turned it over on downs, but they came back and did it. So
yeah. And our first official snow game of the season, as far as I understand.
Aha.
So snow didn't stick to the field during the game, but it was snowing during the game.
I'm not ready for snow yet. Snow should not be here this time of year yet, in my opinion. So
I agree. Or any time of the year. So we live in Arizona. So come down to Arizona.
Yeah, Matthew lives in the wrong climate to say no snow. Right.
That's right.
Josh, you live in the right climate to say no snow.
Meanwhile, half of the podcasts I'm sweating because I'm in a 115-degree garage.
yeah. I don't want that necessarily either. Hey, I'm going to flip back to the Colts game, if that's okay. Let's back reverse. There, finish that up. Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdowns. We already talked about it. 244 on the ground, 40 some more with receiving included in that. Good game. The thing you'll see all over is Daniel Jones with a bloody face, bloody mouth. They show that picture everywhere. And for some reason in those pictures, this is the thing I don't like about Daniel Jones. His eyes always look crazy. He's got that bloody lip and his eyes just looking crazy. It's like, oh my goodness, who is that guy?
He looked like Hannibal Lecter.
He really did. But the Colts did come back and win that. It was a good game for those in Berlin. I enjoyed watching it. I do think the Colts have some cleanup to do. We missed Buckner, and we had some problems keeping that ball off the ground. We got to get that cleaned up. But luckily we didn't have a muffed punt this week. And overall, I give it a thumbs up. The biggest thumbs up is we won. And we went to, and I said the Falcons team always befuddles me. And everything I vote, they go the opposite. But this time I voted for the Colts. And the Colts. Oh, by the way, that was our first contentious game of the week. We got to say that. We said Colts, Falcons. I said Colts. You said Falcons, Colts, Falcons, Colts. Anyway, Colts did win that one. And good game. I didn't know if you guys wanted to say anything about that or not. Pretty much I talked about it the whole time. So
no, I think you covered everything I would have, Matthew. Word from word.
Word for word. There it is. All right. Well, I think we can then jump past that and get down to the Jags Texans. Jaguars falling apart, man. They're just falling apart. They're heading in the wrong direction. They're sitting at 5 wins right now, second in the AFC, but I just don't see that lasting. It doesn't look like they're fixing whatever their problems are. As a matter of fact, they're losing people for the rest of the year that they were hoping to get back. Texans, on the other hand, that defense has been strong all year. And as long as it can get in there and do their part, if CJ Stroud and that offense can get a little bit going. Now, was this their biggest test against the Jags? No. But for this week, they came out on top.
A tweet that I liked from this game, I saw someone say that Liam Cohen is finding out what Lovie Smith learned 3 years ago, and that is to never doubt Davis Mills in a come-from-behind situation. And of course, yeah. Lovie Smith's case, he was the coach of the Texans. They were basically trying to lose, and Davis Mills.
I think that was Lovie saying, all right, I know I'm fired. I'm just going to do this to one last, like, there you go. Liam, at the end of that game, threw his headset, threw his play call sheet. He did not look happy, did he?
No, they were up big in this one. It looked like they were going to run away with it, and then it all came crashing down. And that is kind of the microcosm of their season to this point so far.
It is. And right now, it would be, I mean, it could happen, but it's going to take a lot for any of the teams in the AFC South to challenge the Colts at this point. They're all in the wrong direction. Even if the Texans are starting to win, they just dug a huge hole, and I don't know that they can get back.
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk about like an even bigger surprise loss? Let's go to our next game. Bills Dolphins. I think we all said Dolphins. I mean, we all said Bills.
Sure, yeah.
We all said the Bills were going to win this one so easily because it's the Dolphins. My goodness, they're so bad. What in the world happened in this game? I remember I was watching the other games going on. I wasn't watching this one, and they kept like saying, "Oh, Dolphins are up 16-0," and I'm like, "What? What is going on here?" What did go on here?
I got the formula for what happened. Mike Daniels has been tuning into our podcast all season.
He's like,
I should have former Packers nose tackle Mike Daniels. Mike McDaniel, I think.
Mike McDaniels, yes.
So he's tuned into our podcast. He's heard Matthew say every week, I think week 8 is his final week. And he said, Matthew, screw you. I'm still here, my guy.
You have no faith in me.
I'm going to go beat the Buffalo Bills. It is 100% spite on Matthew.
It is. And as long as it's only against the Bills, I don't care. I mean, it's funny because there was a time where I was always rooting for the Bills. That has faded for me a bit here, but yeah.
I said it a couple of weeks ago or maybe last week that the Dolphins are like the perfect bad team because they're not bad enough to just lose the rest of their games. They still have the skill to kind of make their impact on the playoff race without them becoming the team that goes far or goes into the playoffs. And that is exactly what happened here. They get the better of the Buffalo Bills. And it wasn't like it was like they just squeaked by the Buffalo Bills. It was like a big win. They went up early and were able to keep the Bills at an arm's length the rest of the way.
Yeah, 30-13 is not a score to laugh at. Now, if it was a situation where Buffalo came in and they had the chance to win the game at the end and they fumbled it away or at least to tie the game and couldn't make a field goal or something, that's a different conversation to be had.
This one, too, it was just all over those Bills. Go to it, I guess, because you're going to be injured next week, but it's good that you're playing good this week.
That's right. They better sign Joe Flacco. He's looking good.
He's looking good. Get him in there. Let's look at Ravens-Vikings. This was our second contested game of the week. I said the Ravens would win. Mr. Kolodziejski said the Vikings would win, and I don't remember what you said, Brandon. Oh, wait, you weren't here last week.
I wasn't here last week, but I probably would have said Ravens.
Okay. Well, Ravens did win. And I think I said what I was going to say earlier, and that is not only is Lamar back, but I think it's their defense that is really kind of making the difference there in that team. I'll let Josh talk about this one because I'm sure he has a lot more in-depth analysis of this game than I do. What'd you think of JJ in there this week? Last week, pretty good win, right? Over Detroit. This week.
Yes. He struggled. Really, everybody on the offense struggled. I will say McCarthy in the first half of this game actually looked really good, especially on the in rhythm plays. He was very accurate, and he was making their correct reads, doing all of that. He did have one, it was a 3rd and long that he threw an interception on towards the end of the first half. Justin Jefferson also slipped on that play. Speaking of bad games, this was probably the worst game Justin Jefferson has ever had in his career. He had drops. He was, I think it's the first time that an opponent or the officials have gotten into his head because he was taking some contact, but so were the receivers for Baltimore. Everyone was taking some contact to the point of like it was consistent officiating that they weren't calling flags for illegal contact in those situations, but it really frustrated him. And it led to him only getting 4 catches on 11 or 12 total targets. A couple of times it was because JJ McCarthy was inaccurate. But some of the times it was because he just wasn't able to get open. As the game wore on, McCarthy's mechanics started to break down a little bit more, and that was kind of the case against the Lions last week. And really has just kind of been the case in a lot of these games that he's played where early on in the game, not necessarily that it's the scripted portion of the game, but when you are, less tired, taking less pressure, and you're not going back into your old habits. And McCarthy is not at the point where he can prevent himself from going back into those old habits. Some quarterbacks never get to that point. And the hope right now is that McCarthy is one that can fix those bad habits and not revert to the poor footwork that has led to some overthrows and to some misreads and some bad inaccuracies that have popped their head in the second half of these last couple of games. It did not help, though, that the offensive line had 8 false start penalties at home in a quiet environment when the offense is on the field. You can hear a pin drop in US Bank Stadium whenever the Vikings have the football. There were still 8 false start penalties against this offense, continuing to put JJ McCarthy in 1st and 15, 2nd and 15 sort of situations. So they weren't able to use their run game as much, which was effective in this game. Like Aaron Jones had a really solid day, but only had like 8 or 9 carries. The offense was kind of just a mess. Meanwhile, the defense held up pretty well, I think, about as well as you'd expect them to against a Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry led team. They really bottled up the run and the pass in the first half, especially. In the second half, there was one drive where the Ravens got a lot of push against the Minnesota Vikings defensive line, but they kind of ramped it back up. The Vikings did on defense after that possession. The Ravens got a short field because of a fumble on a kick return by Miles Price. They lost that fumble. Price fumbled the next kick return too, but Minnesota was lucky enough to recover it. I liked what I saw from the defense because it was really only one drive where the Baltimore Ravens were able to assert their dominance over them. And the rest of the time, they kind of held them down pretty well. And in fact, I think Minnesota outgained Baltimore on fewer plays in this game. It was just the 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions by McCarthy, one which was Jefferson's fault, one which was McCarthy's fault, and another fumble on the kick return. Those were the difference, the penalties and the turnovers.
Yeah, didn't work out for them like you would have liked it to. The Ravens got some life back. Now you're both sitting at 4-5, and I think you're both you're 3rd in your division. They're 2nd in their division.
We're 4th in our division.
Oh, you're 4th. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, don't be taking 3rd place away from me, Matthew. Don't take it away.
Don't do it. Yeah.
By the way, this means that Kevin O'Connell will be fired at the end of the season. There is a long-running tradition since the Ravens have entered the NFL that when the Vikings play the Ravens and win, they make it into the NFC Championship game. When they play the Ravens and lose, their head coach gets fired. So unfortunately, Kevin O'Connell it's on the wrong end of that curse.
I don't know if that'll happen this year because Kevin O'Connell has a lot of goodwill.
I would be quite surprised. Oh my gosh, that would be the headline of the
It would. It would. If he got fired before Mike McDaniels. Oh my goodness. Next game was Jets Browns. This was one of our contested games. I said the Browns with their great defense was going to beat the Jets like everybody else has been doing. But no, the Jets, who got rid of some big pieces of their defense, they said, we don't need Sauce Gardner. We don't need Quinn Williams. We're just going to go in and take these Browns without him. And they did. 27-20. Jets win. What'd you guys think of that one? Or did you think of that one at all?
It surprised me. Yeah. I obviously didn't vote last week. I would have said the Browns.
I did also.
Going into this game.
Yeah.
And for the reasons that you mentioned, Matthew, it's like Sauce Gardner is such a huge piece of that defense. And congratulations to the Colts.
Oh, by the way, I didn't say this. He didn't look great with the Colts this week, but he was on 4 days where he had to fly to Indy, and then he had to fly to Berlin, and then he had to try and like look at what they do, which is a different sort of game than he plays. Yep. And I don't fault him at all. I think he will look better in coming weeks. But yes, go ahead.
And I think that's fine, right? By the time the postseason comes around, if he still looks dazed and confused, that's a preparation problem, right?
Yeah.
All of the talent and all of the skills for Sauce Gardner are there.
And I'll say this. He posted, he's like, I've never seen an offense play like this. And then there was another one of him, doing the win thing because he didn't get any of those. So the one game they won.
You got one.
The one game they won, he didn't play that week. So he said, I don't even really feel like I got to win with the Jets. So
yeah. So congrats on that. 2 first-round picks. I'll mention that I brought that up in the previous podcast I was on. Matthew, what would happen if you guys gave up 2 first-round picks? Now, I was making the argument for Max Crosby, right? Different defensive player, but Sauce Gardner, like still respectable for 2 first-round picks.
And I said last week, I'll just kind of recap it here. I was totally thinking edge rusher. I was not thinking cornerback. I was not thinking Sauce Gardner. I don't think anybody was. When I first heard 2 first-round picks, I'm like, ooh, that's kind of expensive. Then when I heard they threw in A.D. Mitchell, I'm like, ooh, that's a lot. But as I look at it, as I let it set in, I think those 2 first-round picks are going to end up between 25 and 32, both years, I think. And I think A.D. Mitchell was not going to work out in Indianapolis, and I think that was kind of the feeling in the building, and so he is going to get a chance now where he's at.
I love how you're 25-32. Like Matthew's like Super Bowl or bust right now. It's not going to be 31.
I said 25 to 32.
I know, but you didn't say 25 to 30, right? You're not going to stop in the championship game.
I'm not
going all the way.
I do believe that if they get this ball protection stuff figured out, I think when Mooney Ward gets back and you have Sauce on one side, Mooney on the other side, and I think when you have DeForest Buckner back in there with Grove, and I think you have Kenny Moore still in there on that defense, I think adding that stuff to the defense is only going to help what was already a good offense, and I think it's going to be tough.
Yeah. There's
232.
Hopping back,
going to be 32.
Hopping back to the Jets, we could talk Colts for another 2 hours, right?
Right.
Hopping back to the Jets, it's very rare that you consolidate and then win. Like it does not happen very often.
Right.
And so kudos to Aaron Glenn for pulling that one out.
Granted, it was against a 2-win team.
Hey, but it's Dylan Gabriel. Like he's not playing like a slump, right?
Right.
He's in the offensive rookie of the year conversation.
Plus 15,000.
He's in the conversation.
He's in the conversation. He's higher than Matthew Golden. I'll throw that in there.
I did not see a second of this game yet. I've not gotten to the condensed replay, but I did watch Indiana and Fernando Mendoza go down the field and score a last-second touchdown to win against Penn State in Penn State, and I can see why the Browns decided to lose this game and give themselves a better shot to go get Fernando Mendoza in the NFL draft.
See, thinking the long game there.
Yes.
They've still got to convince those Titans to win another one somehow.
Right. So, well, the Titans aren't going to be. They're going to be. They don't need a quarterback. They got.
No, you're right. Right. So, but they're going to like offer it to everybody under the sun.
Oh, that's what you think. That's what you think. They'll go in. They'll take another quarterback. 2 consecutive first overall picks. Quarterback.
They took a quarterback 2 years ago with Will Levis. Then they took.
And that was the second round, though. Second rounder.
Was he all the way in the second round? I thought he was bottom of the first, but you may be right.
No, he fell to the second. Yeah,
he should have.
But like 2 first overall picks as quarterbacks year over year.
That's something.
Yeah,
they better not. All right, we're going to move ahead because that Jets-Browns game, I also did not watch 1 minute of that game yet. I will try to watch a condensed version, but now that we do these on Tuesdays, I have a harder time getting all the games in before we record. But the Patriots-Bucks, I did watch, and the Patriots were up against another team that can do what it needs to win. I thought it was a good game, and the Patriots come out on top of this one. Baker Mayfield was still doing what Baker Mayfield does, and they had a chance to win it at the end, but Patriots pulled it out.
From what I saw out of this game, which was just through red zone, like hopping back and forth through it, it seemed like New England essentially controlled 90% of this game. Like they weren't playing from behind, like Tampa Bay was playing from behind this whole game. They restricted Baker Mayfield pretty well up until like the last half of the fourth quarter. Like kudos to New England. They just, if they can get that last 10%, it's going to look pretty dangerous coming into the playoffs here.
Yeah, the Patriots are at the top of the AFC East, and they are tied for the best record right now. In not only the East, I think tied for the best record in the NFL.
There's a three-way tie. It's the Broncos, the Colts, and the Patriots. Who doesn't belong there? The Broncos.
Not a different horse.
The Patriots played this before halftime and after halftime situation perfectly, where they got down to the within 5 yards with about 1:44 left, but the Buccaneers didn't have any timeouts. So what the Patriots did was on first down, they did what you do when you're trying to set up a game-winning field goal from the correct hash mark, and Drake May just took the ball and rolled over towards the middle so that they could just run 40 seconds off the clock without scoring and keep Tampa Bay from getting the ball. It eventually, and they had their 2 timeouts left, so they could control the clock anyway. It did get down to fourth down and they had 2 seconds left, and instead of deciding to kick a field goal, they went for the touchdown and scored on a beautiful Stephon Diggs catch. That's some good coaching from Mike Vrabel. We didn't talk about coach of the year. I mean, it was some gutsy coaching. I don't know if it was good. I don't know if you'd always want your head coach to do that. But we talked about coaching. We forgot to talk about coach of the year, but Mike Vrabel certainly in the conversation with the way he controlled that end of half. And then they got the ball back after halftime and scored a touchdown on a long Travion Henderson run, who again got the bulk of the carries and looked very, very good.
I'm going to say this. If the season continues as it is right now, Vrabel and Steichen are going to be up there in that coach of the year conversation, because both of them are playing some pretty gutsy. I think the Colts went for every fourth down that there was. They didn't get them all, but they just go for fourth down all the time. It's crazy. Yeah. So Patriots looking good. And who would have thought Patriots, Broncos, and Colts, 3 AFC teams, the only one sitting at 8-2 right now, but that's what it is. That's what it is. And nobody would have seen those 3 teams. Maybe they would have seen the Broncos. Maybe, I think people before the year started had the Broncos kind of up there.
Not at 8-2. I mean, if you asked me 3 AFC teams that were 8-2, I would have said the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Chargers.
And the Ravens or something like that. Yeah.
During our AFC preview show, I almost had the Broncos as one of my when Matthew asked me what are the 3 AFC teams that you think can have the best shot at the Super Bowl. I almost said the Broncos. Matthew walked me
thought of Bo Nix.
I would not have believed any of those, but there they are. There they are. Cardinals Seahawks, one definite better team in this. Seahawks looked good, rolled over the Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett came in, and I don't think you can lay this loss completely at his feet. I think there's a lot of not good offensive line. There's just a lot of not good on that team. That's not Jacoby Brissett. I think he still is trying to keep them ahead of the chains, but Seahawks are Seahawks, and Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold, and they're rolling right now.
What was the score at half? It was significant.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact halftime score.
35-0 or 38-7 is what I saw at one point.
Yeah, I mean,
it was significant.
I was kind of hoping that I'm always on the lookout for really good offenses and also like just historical pummelings of teams. Like when the Broncos gave up 70 points a couple of years ago, that was like, oh my gosh. I was hoping for like a 77-0 sort of ball game, but the Seahawks laid off the gas, and that was probably a good thing because in the fantasy football league, I was going up against somebody with the Seahawks defense, and the Cardinals got back in it, scored some points, and I ended up winning that game by less than a point total. So if it would have been 77-0, I would have lost that game.
I just got a quick question. How much did you guys, your fantasy league, how much did Jonathan Taylor score for your fantasy, whoever had him this year?
I'll look it up.
Because he had a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns.
Yes.
I will say, I would have hoped for that 77-0 because Sam Darnold is my quarterback.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. If you ever do that, though, the opposing coach is like mad because you're like just shellacking their team, not laying off the gas.
The Matthew Thomas Memorial Team, by the way, is 8-2 right now. So we're cooking.
The Matthew Thomas Memorial Team. That's your name.
That's not what I've named it. No, but that is the.
I thought that was the name of your team. I'm like, that's a good name.
That's what it should have been, but no, unfortunately, no. We did not draft all Colts players, but if we did draft all Colts players this season,
it would have been better than when I did it. Yeah.
55.6 Jonathan Taylor points.
Yeah, he had a good week.
He is with your favorite, Matthew, Jacob McCormick.
Hey, you go, Jacob McCormick. You got him.
So now the real move is to see if Jacob started him this week or not. Last week.
I was going to say, I would not. I mean, he should not this coming week. He should not start him, but every other week he should.
Jacob's first in the league, and he did start him. And it did help prop up his quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, from 8.4 total fantasy points.
So, yeah, Seahawks beat the Rams easily. And I would say the Seahawks are looking like probably the best team in the NFC right now. Rams in there. But, yeah. And the Rams are our next game. Rams 49ers. Rams finally came along and said, we're going to beat those 49ers for you, Matthew. You keep not knowing what to do with them either. It's the Rams and the Falcons always confusing me. But Rams have that MVP possible candidate, Matthew Stafford, and they scored 46-26 over the 49ers. It's about the same score the Seahawks had over the Cardinals, and they're the other 7-2 team. Are there just two 7-2 teams in the NFC, or is there another one?
I think it's just two.
Yeah,
and that is the Eagles.
Oh, with the Eagles, yeah, the Eagles
7-2. So three teams at 7-2 in the NFC, 3 teams at 8-2 in the AFC, and 49ers beat by the Rams. 49ers, this is their second loss in a row. Is that right?
Well, yes, because because I think you picked them the other week and were wrong about them, and that's why we or maybe no wait. I don't remember, actually. I have no idea if the 49ers lost this weekend.
This was one of our contested games this week. You did pick the 49ers to win, Josh. And I think you picked it because you said whatever Matthew picks, it's always the opposite. And I picked the Rams, and so you picked the
49ers specifically, Yeah. I went with the 49ers and was wrong. Matthew Stafford looked really good. Puka Nacua looked really good. Devontae Adams
looked really good. Yeah. Yeah, he's got some receivers.
They've got weapons to throw to, and they have a new rookie tight end, Tanner Ferguson, who's like their third string tight end, but had a big catch in this game. The Rams offense is cooking, and that's kind of what we thought. As long as Matthew Stafford stayed healthy with that back injury that they were talking about at the beginning of the season, if he stayed healthy, this was going to be a good team, and they are. Their offensive line dominated the San Francisco 49ers defensive line, and both Kyron Williams and Blake Corum had big days in the run game too. It was just like a total show-off game for Sean McVay's offense.
Yes. McVay won that one, Shanahan. Lions Commanders. Josh Haupt would not be happy to hear this, but they had almost the same score. They actually had the same score as the Seahawks Cardinals. Lions 44 over the Commanders 22. Commanders, it's looking bad for them for this year. They did go down in their rankings. They're not worse. I started to say they went first to worst, but they're third in their division. And the Lions continue to kind of come back, trying to come back after last week's loss to the Vikings. And they came back. This was the week that Dan Campbell took back offensive calling duties, and it worked, and they won. And that team is looking, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs and I could go start naming people. It's always that way. They just have such a strong offense. They always have a defense that's depleted, but somehow still working. And at least they have Aiden Hutchinson back. So,
yeah. And I don't know if Campbell's going to keep calling plays throughout the rest of the season, but it looked good with him out there. And then he had done that at the end of the 2021 season as well, which was when they had Anthony Lynn as their offensive coordinator. And that kind of started to boost them into 2022 when they had Ben Johnson and began to make their run as like a really good team. So I guess hoping for more of that magic to get them over the hump now that they've been unable to get to the last 2 seasons.
And their defensive coordinator in Detroit is looking good. I've been impressed with what he's doing with that team.
Yeah, he has been, while the offensive coordinator hire might not have hit, the defensive coordinator hire might even be better than Aaron Glenn. Too early to say that definitively, but he has been very good.
Yes. Steelers Chargers. Whoop, the Steelers made Aaron Rodgers only score 8 points in fantasy and just a little better in real life. 10 points for the Steelers. I guess he probably only scored 6 of those because you got your kicker point after and then your 3-point. So, yeah, probably he did better than in real life. But Chargers came back and they looked good in this one and made the Steelers look bad in this one. I didn't get to watch this whole game yet, but what I watched, it didn't look good for Aaron and team.
And we saw the first like iterations of what the Chargers can do working around what is now a bad offensive line without most of their projected starters in there this season. And we saw how they can win football games with that against a Steelers defense that has an old but good defensive line. And they were able to do a lot of quick throws, a lot of just like little stuff to Ladd McConkey. And it wasn't always working, but when it was, they were able to move down the field. Also, Kamani Vidal had a pretty solid game in between the tackles. So whenever they get Omari and Hampton back, pairing those two together is going to be a tough backfield as long as the offensive line and the run game can get the push that they were getting against the Steelers.
And I like to give the Colts credit. They showed the Chargers, this is what you got to watch out for in that defensive line because we got it all beat out of us by that defensive line. And it was the first time they'd done that pretty much all year. Everybody was kind of questioning it, and they stepped up against the Colts. Chargers watched what they did and said, oh, okay, so the way to beat that is this. And so I give credit for that win to the Colts, for the Chargers there. And then we ended the week just like we started the week. Kind of a stinker of a game that only got 10-7. This one maybe not as snooze fest, especially when you get to that last quarter for Eagles-Packers. But here's what I will say. I hate Disney and ESPN. I couldn't even watch this game live. I tried like 400 ways, it seems like, except for buying like the premium ESPN package. I even have Disney Plus, couldn't watch it. I have YouTube TV, couldn't watch it. I have Sunday Ticket, couldn't watch it. And so I therefore hate Disney and ESPN with all my heart.
Yeah, so I had the same problem. And everyone at my office were all on YouTube TV and couldn't watch the game, right? So what we did is we had an office party at the local bar, and we went down and my entire staff, we watched it about half a mile from where I live. We had 6 TVs all around us. It felt very good. And no matter where we looked, we couldn't miss any part of the game. It was nice.
It was nice until the final score.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, this was like the most Thursday night, Monday game ever. Yeah. 10-7. I will say, what a heck of a defensive performance on both ends. I mean, it's like,
it was. I will say this, though. I think the Packers made the defense of the Eagles look so much better because the receivers, you guys just were without any good receivers. Your receivers were not getting it done.
Yeah, I mean,
you needed Golden.
I don't know the exact snap count that Romeo Doubs played, but I think it was under 50%. And he left the game with an injury.
Yeah.
So next time we see him, you know those suits that you get like kids from like age 5 to 10, and they got like the built out Spider-Man muscles.
Yeah.
So Romeo Doubs is going to have the Guardian cap and then like one of those Spider-Man suits that has the 6-pack on it, just to protect him, like full protection. We don't need anything else.
What was going on with Christian Watson though?
Christian Watson, like he went from, and he did have some good catches throughout the game, so give him credit. But he had one that he should have caught, but he turned around and basically became a defender and jumped on top of the corner from intercepting the ball. But like, I think if Christian Watson just would have turned around and contorted the body the way that we know he can in a regular motion, he would have caught like a 50-yard pass. I was like, what on earth is going on out here? And if you want to take the exact Lombardi quote, you can get a bit more creative and substitute Earth with another demonic place. Now, the biggest issue I've seen here, and Packers fans are pissed off at Matt LaFleur for play calling last week and this week. I don't know if I'm as upset about the play calling, and let me see if I can explain this the way that I believe Matt LaFleur is presenting this. Matt LaFleur is backed off a little bit on the complexity of his plays, and Josh has talked about this a lot last season on Matt's ability to scheme up runs. And a lot of what we saw was some basic Madden stuff that he put in the playbook. And it looks to me, when I'm watching the game on offense, there is a massive lack of execution. And it's offensive line missing blocks. You can't do that. It's receivers running wrong routes and running into each other. And a perfect example of this is we had 3 receivers go out. We had Josh Jacobs as a running back. We had a tight end and Luke Musgrave go out. And I think it was like Malik Heath or something, the big name wideout that we signed 2 years ago. Josh Jacobs and Luke Musgrave ran into each other on their routes. And that limits you to only having Malik Heath as your primary guy who's stuck between 3 guys in zone coverage. And you're obviously not going to throw it there. Right. It's stuff like that is very frustrating to me. Because you could easily just pitch it to Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs is going to get you 6 yards. Right. It's going to happen. You throw it to him in the flat, he's going to get you 6 yards, and it's going to be okay. But when you eliminate Josh Jacobs and you eliminate your tight end and Luke Musgrave, and then you've got an unproven guy out there being triple covered, you're not gonna gain yards. It's just not gonna happen. I don't care what NFL team you are. You gotta go out there and execute the game plan, and that's what the Packers aren't able to do these past couple of weeks. Is I think Matt LaFleur is calling the right game plan about 90% of the time, but it's massive lack of execution on the offense. Defense, they're coming in hot. They're doing good. I'm pleased with the defense. Carrington Valentine starting to fill that corner 1 role that we assumed Keyshawn Nixon was going to take. I'm not saying he's perfect in his role, but he's doing a lot better than I expected him to. Rashawn Gary, one of the top in the NFL right now for numbers of sacks. Micah Parsons, I could talk about him for the next 6 years, right? And how much I love that he's a Green Bay Packer. And so there's a lot of good stuff going on defensively, not so much offensively. And then whatever on earth was that Brandon McManus 64-yard attempt to finish the game.
What was the whole last series? Nick Sirianni, first of all, what was he doing?
Oh my gosh.
Secondly, you didn't have very far to get within field goal range. You couldn't do it.
So Nick Sirianni, we used up all of our timeouts. It was like 4th and 6 or 4th and 7. And he calls basically a Hail Mary to A.J. Brown in the end zone And Carrington Valentine, like no pass interference, and it shouldn't have been. Like, it was clean defending, like stopped that touchdown from happening. But why do you call that on 4th and 6? There's 33 seconds left, and the Packers only need 20 yards to go for Brandon McManus's career-long record at 61. And then they come out there, they line up really fast, right? And then they snap it, and he gets the attempt of 64 yards. But all while this was happening, Nick Sirianni called a timeout like 30 seconds before that, and the refs just didn't stop anything. Yeah. So we got an attempt, and then short. Matt LaFleur was like, okay, it was like 3 yards short, which is 61, his career long. Let's call a play. There's 5 seconds left in the game. Keep this in mind. Let's just call a short play to the outside and try to get 3 yards. So they call the play. They see the defenders. Jordan just yeets it out of bounds. And they're like, all right, we're going to try this again. And I don't know if it was McManus. I don't know if it was the snap. The snap looked weird. The hold looked weird. The kick was bad.
Maybe it's just really bad wind.
What it was just really bad execution all across the board. And that theme is going to stick. Now, I do have to say, I talked about this at the bar last night, and everyone in the bar got on my side for this, that offensively, the Eagles only had 3 good plays. Now, 2 of them were in a row, and one of them was a touchdown, and one of them led to a field goal, which allowed them to get, 10 points, which was all they needed to win this game. And Micah Parsons had an interesting comment after the Browns game that I've been replaying in my head. And he's like, I think if we can keep opposing offenses under 20 points, we've got a shot to win any game. And the irony there is, each time the defense has held our opponents this season under 20 points, we've lost the game.
Yep.
So we had 10-13 with the Browns. We had 13-16 with the Panthers, and then we had 10-7 with the Eagles.
At least this wasn't the Browns or the Panthers. I mean, at least this was a team people like say,
this is a respectable team, right? A respectable team, a Super Bowl champion team. Like, we lost. It's okay. It's okay. But 10-7. Now, some of it, I think LaFleur and I've complained about this all season. He's been conservative with his play calling. And then this week he mixed conservative play calling with being aggressive on 4th down.
Yeah.
But with conservative calls. So it was a weird feeling. Now, Packers fans, they're like, fire this guy, get him out of here. I'm not on that train, right? If it does happen, I hope the guy that we hire for head coach is Jeff Hafley. I've been very pleased with him and how he's transformed the Packers defense. I think we would keep defense, and he would bring in some other offensive guru that's slightly more aggressive in his play calling or her play calling. We'll see what the Packers decide to do. I don't think it's the right move to fire Matt. I think it's a sit down and say, listen, my guy, get into practice, and you don't stop running plays until the execution is perfect. Because you cannot show up in any game. Nevertheless, the Eagles, like basically your largest competitor in the conference, and run a wrong route or miss a block. Like, you just read the defensive line wrong. You cannot do that. And so
this was in Lambeau.
In Lambeau.
It was such a weird game for me because it was so quiet. Like, when the Packers were playing it, they get quiet, and obviously they get loud. But like, I was watching some of those Packers. The filming, like the color looked like more like the 80s. It was like football games.
Yeah, it was more green than it usually is.
It's just like more matte. I don't know what the word is. And then it was like quiet, and then it was like 0-0 at halftime, and nobody's doing anything. Lots of punts. I'm like, what am I watching? This is weird. When I did finally watch it, which wasn't until like midnight. When I could finally watch it on YouTube TV, 11:30, whatever it was.
Yeah. So
you had a copy of Ron Jaworski versus Don Majikowski game on VHS that was going. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
So that's what happened this week. I'm hopeful. I'm going to hop ahead and start talking about the Packers game next week because I got 4 minutes before I got.
All right,
off.
do it.
We're going to New York, baby, and it's not for the Jets. It's for the Giants. I guess we're going to New Jersey. My bad. We're going to New Jersey. We got the Giants. We talked about. I was really pleased with Jackson Dart and just his attention to detail on not turning the ball over frequently.
Do you have Jackson Dart, or will he be in concussion protocol still?
I don't know. But
he went out of the game concussion. So
I was pleased with the way he ran the ball and how he read the defense and got there. Now I think the Packers are a bit better suited to cover running quarterbacks than Chicago is. Our defensive front can get to them quick. We play an aggressive zone coverage, so there's guys just always everywhere. And so I think we can limit some of that quarterback versatility. So I want to just see him throw the ball a lot. Obviously, our offensive line, they've got to figure something out. I mean, you can't go up against the Giants' defensive line looking like the way we did these past 2 weeks. You can't miss blocks. You got to get them. And get a bit more creative with your play calling, Matt. Like, you can't just call inside zone, inside zone, inside zone, inside zone, and just give it to Josh Jacobs. So a couple things there.
Who do you think's going to win this one?
Well, I'm going to say Packers.
I was going to say, I don't know how you could say otherwise, but
yeah, I mean, I feel good enough that, man, this is hard, right? I've been stabbed in the heart 2 weeks in a row. I feel confident the defense is going to hold the Giants under 20 points.
Uh-oh.
I feel good.
We know what happens when you hold the other team under 20 points.
I feel good. Micah Parsons and the defense can hold them under 20 points. But if that happens, the offense, you just have to go and slit their freaking throats, man. I don't care. Let the blood gush everywhere.
Oh my goodness. Children, sorry if you're watching it.
Yeah. If we want to go back to 80s football, go back to 80s football, right?
Back when they jacked you up.
Yeah. So see something, right? And we can hop back. The tush push was obviously a big contended conversation every game the Eagles play in, right? Every time, both guards.
I would say
on the Packers side and on the Eagles side, you just false start your guards, push them forward, and you've got a guaranteed yardage and hope the refs don't call it.
I was going to say this one was a weirdly officiated game. You kept seeing all these guys jump so early, and you're like, I guess they're not going to call that one.
Yeah, and the tush push specifically is unique because the Packers did have a guy jump off sides, right? Not going to try to deny that, and they rightfully called it. But every time the Eagles did it, both of their guards create this goose V before the center snaps the ball, and then the center snaps the ball. How it's more obvious than the Packers' false start. Significantly more obvious. How can you not call that? How can you not do it?
We'll probably see something start to happen to that play this offseason. There was questions about it last offseason, and it's been talked about so much this offseason. I bet we see something. I don't know what. But
yeah, and you know the team that's going to bring it up?
The Packers.
The Packers. Mark Murphy's legacy is not dead. It is still good.
Well, Brandon, thanks for giving us your pick on that game. And we know you got to take off, but thanks for joining us today. And we'll see if indeed the Packers can hold them under 20 and win. It's a big combo, big thing to ask. See if it can happen.
It's added to my prayer list. Add it to everyone else's prayer list too. Please. For my sanity. Pray for my sanity. And it only comes through Packers victories. Nothing else. I don't need wealth. Just Packers victories.
I'll take the wealth. Okay.
All right.
All right. See
gentlemen.
you later, Brandon. All right. So we're going to go back and we are going to get our screens set correctly here. Woo! There we go. Zoom out a little bit. We're going to go back and kind of hit these games, and we'll still hit them fast. I know we don't have the same kind of crunch that we had last week, but we are already at an hour and 50 minutes. So we're gonna speed run through these again, just like we kind of did at the end of last week. But Jets Patriots, I think Patriots are going to continue their winning. Wait, is that that's Thursday? I think Patriots are going to win that one.
Yes, Drake May's MVP case continues to get built.
So no contention there. Dolphins Commanders. We got a couple of 3-7 teams. A couple teams you don't know exactly what you're going to get. We don't have Jaden Daniels. We do have Tua, who looked good against the Bills. Can he do it 2 weeks in a row?
I say he can. I think the Dolphins are good enough to beat this kind of beat up Washington Commanders team.
I would have never at the beginning of the year thought I would be saying this, but I too think the Dolphins are going to win this week. I am so sorry, Josh Haupt. I know that is the worst thing, but I know you also feel the pain of what's going on here with the Commander team. Falcons Panthers. I do believe the Falcons have been on a bit of a streak. They didn't continue it this last week. The Falcons, man, at one point they were 3-2 and everybody thought they were going to be it. Now they're 3-6 and it just seems like they keep falling apart somehow. Did the Panthers already beat them 1 week this year?
They beat them 30-0.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Man, I know Bijan Robinson's a good running back. And I know that they have a good wide receiver, but it's hard for me not to vote for the Panthers this week with the way the Falcons have been going.
Man, I think I'm going to go. I'll go Falcons. I think.
Okay, we'll contest this one just so we kind of cover it one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I'll go Panthers, and we'll see. Just which of these. Man, my pen's not. There we go. Panthers, and you'll go Falcons, and we'll see. Yeah, it's a crazy tough one. Well, this next one might be crazy tough to call too. This is like a week of tough calls here. Bucks and Bills, both 6-3, still fully in it.
Yeah, I think the Buffalo Bills bounce back real nicely and they come away with a win over Tampa Bay, who has their offense has kind of backslid a little bit over the last couple of weeks, going back to that Lions loss. It's been a little bit rough.
I'm going to contention this one. I'm going to say the Bucks win this one, that they bounce back after this last week, and the Bills find themselves in a real bad place. This would be losing back-to-back the first time, right? They didn't lose the last 2 games, right? Just one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I guess, yeah, correct.
Okay. So I think right now the Bills are for some reason not clicking like this. I mean, they're 6-3. I shouldn't be talking about either one of these teams like they're not clicking, but it just looks so bad last week. So I'm going to go Bucks. So we have some contention. This may be your week to catch up in the contention race. We'll see. Chargers, Jags. I'm going Chargers.
I'm going to go Jaguars.
All right. Look at this.
This one as well. I still like the Jaguars defense. And even though they gave up a ton of points against the Texans last week, I think they can get it done.
Okay. Bears, Vikings.
Got to go with the Vikings. Got to go purple. They beat the Bears already this season. Granted, it was a huge comeback in the fourth quarter. And now the Bears are a seemingly really good team now at 6-3.
I don't know that they're a good team. Somehow they keep eking out wins. And I am going to actually say they eke this one out too, just because they've been improbable in doing it. And I haven't felt super confident about the Vikings of late, as much as I want to. I'm going to go Bears. So we'll go Bears, Vikings. Man, we're going to contest this one all to pieces this week. Okay. Vikings. Packers, Giants. This was the one that Brandon already voted on. He voted the Packers would win, and you would like to think yes.
I would not like to think yes.
You would not. Right, because that every time they're not up, you're closer to getting in the third.
Yeah. Climbing our way back slowly. I'm going to go with the Giants. I'm going to make it make football sense because if there's no Elton Jenkins and you're having to reshuffle that whole offensive line, I think that's bad news against the Giants defensive line.
I think, in all likelihood, the Packers should win this one. But I know how when a coach gets fired, it seems like that next week there's like this adrenaline pump that happens and they win the next week. Could that
Unless
happen
you're the
again?
Titans and then you only lose by 10.
Only by 10. Oh man, what do I want to call here? It's just crazy to me that I'm even looking at a 2-8 team against the Packers and thinking, yeah, they could, and it just blows my mind. But like, especially the way the Packers started, I remember this season starting maybe in like, oh, I don't know if there's a more well-rounded team right now. The Packers are looking awesome with Micah Parsons, and you got everybody. Oh man. I'm going. I can't do it. I'm going to go Packers, which will make us contended again. And Brandon would be so proud of me. But I tell you what, this was not an easy choice, not an easy pick for me this week. Bengals Steelers.
Man, I watched Joe Flacco against this team a couple of weeks ago take a read option for a first down. I'm going to go Cincinnati Bengals once again.
I'm going to have to join you on this one. And we both may be wrong, but I'm going Bengals. Okay, we're not contending on that one. Texans, Titans, I'm going Texans. Titans just are bad all around.
Yeah, I'm going to go Houston as well.
Houston has good defense, and as long as they can get a little offense going, they're going to win that one. 49ers, Cardinals.
Oh boy. Where is this one at?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go Cardinals, I think, no matter the case. I think that Arizona has a good enough defense, and right now I think we're finally starting to see the seams come undone for the 49ers. I think that started with the domination that the Rams had in the trenches last week. I think it has come to a point where the 49ers team can no longer go on. So I'm going to go Cardinals.
I want to. I want to do that also. But man, aside from Jacoby Brissett, the team is not looking, and Jacoby's not looking like amazing, but he's looking better than Kyler was. And the 49ers just got humbled. They still got Christian McCaffrey and Mac Jones, right?
Yes.
I'm going to go with 49ers. This gives you a better chance at winning because they always do the opposite of what I say. So I went 49ers, you went Cardinals. And Seahawks Rams. Oh man, we have a lot of like
really good one.
Really like games that are hard to call this week. Whether it's bad teams against each other or good teams against each other. This is one of those that's the good teams against each other. Rams and Seahawks both at 7-2.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for Sam Darnold to get revenge against the Los Angeles Rams from their playoff game when he was with the Vikings last year. I think I'm going Rams. I really want to go Seahawks, but I think I'm going to go Rams.
You know what? We've been contentious. I'm going to go Seahawks.
All right.
Not that I think the Rams. I could see the Rams winning this so easy, but I'm going to go Seahawks.
Yeah,
that's. I'm
either. I'm either catching back up this week or I am falling
totally going
out of contention.
Ravens, Browns. I do believe the Ravens have put together some good games and are starting to roll. I think they see that division as one they can win now, and I do think they win this one against the Browns.
Yes, same here. No contention there.
Chiefs, Broncos. As much as I hate it, I think the Chiefs are going to win this one.
Yes, I think Kansas City wins, and the Bo Nix truthers start to clutch their pillows even tighter.
Lions, Eagles. I do believe the Lions, even though they have a worse record right now, are the stronger looking team. I know the Eagles won one in a very ugly fashion, and that's the way that team seems to do it this year. And they're 7-2, but I'm going to go Lions.
I am going to go with, man, I'm going to go Eagles. No, I can't go Eagles. Sorry, I can never go Eagles. I'm going Lions.
I was going to say last week you're like, I can never vote for the Eagles. All right, so we're both going to live or die by the Lions on that one. Cowboys, yes. Raiders. Oh, a couple of real stinkers of a team for Monday Night Football again.
Yeah, I'll go Cowboys. I don't have Cowboys. Any faith in the Raiders.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, there's that. And as far as marquee games, I think my marquee is going to be Seahawks Rams. That's going to be a tough one.
My marquee is what should have been the NFC Championship last year, the Eagles and the Lions.
Okay. That'll be a good one. And your manure. Whew.
Yeah, Titans, Texans. I think the Titans defensive line has enough to stop this Texans offense from doing a bunch, but not enough to win the game. So it's going to be like 9-3 or something.
Yeah. Just for difference, just so we have difference, because I highly agree with that game being a real. But to keep it, I'm going to go Commanders Dolphins. On Thursday night. I'm going to say that's going to be a true Thursday night game again. It's not going to look good anywhere. And the the one that might be surprising. You want to go first? I've kind of been stealing them.
Well, I'm going to go Giants, Packers, because I think the Giants can pull this one off, and I think that'll turn a lot of heads and make some folks sort of question things going on in Green Bay a little bit.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna go with the Bucks and Bills. I think that's gonna be like a hard loss for either one of them. But I think the Bills, like, falling so far behind the Patriots, is gonna be my because I obviously said I think the Bucks are gonna win that one. So
yeah.
There we go. My. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us this week. Hey, thanks for joining us, everybody, here on the Football Fandemic. We are going to come back next week and see how those all turned out and see where this season's going. We'll catch you guys all then. Thanks for joining us. Bye now.